the wat of watching the Marvels, Quantumania, and whatever else piece of crap they had put out around that time, and I was just kind of like, I was super disappointed and done with them for a while.
Yeah. What do you think Guardians and Deadpool versus Wolverine? What do you think of those two films?
What was the first one?
Guardians 3 and Deadpool and Wolverine.
I didn't like Guardians 3. I thought Deadpool and Wolverine was very entertaining, but beyond that, I didn't think it had a lot of depth or anything. It just
but
it could have been a gateway to fixing all these multiverse problems. But instead, they just did one long superhero dick fart joke movie.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's Deadpool. What are your expectations of anything?
Yeah, well, it's Deadpool, but it's not Wolverine.
I agree. Do you know what? I agree. Other than the scene where it got like X-23 speaking to Wolverine, and it was just pretty much that was the only one where I felt like it got into any sort of more deep character emotion stuff with Wolverine. Otherwise, I didn't feel Wolverine was as interesting as he is in the other movies. Otherwise, he was just angry at Deadpool all the time.
I think he was kind of made as the show pony joke. I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, you're here just as a show pony. I think Deadpool makes that very clear every time he speaks to him.
But don't waste bringing back Wolverine just for that reason. You know, they could.
I do like when Deadpool and Wolverine are, hashing it out in the car when they have a very heated.
Oh, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of very entertaining, funny stuff. Like when they show all the variant Wolverines from the comics, like the Short King and the brown costume and all that kind of stuff. It's all really cool, and it's all geek service. But how does it propel Marvel into the future?
My favorite joke in that movie.
I did think, Marty, like before the film came out, my hope was like I was telling this to everyone that Deadpool just gets and kills off all the terrible shows and movies that has happened after Endgame. Deadpool just goes on a killing spree. I would love to see that film. That was my expectation, that I would have loved it if that happened.
Yeah, but I'm ready for a phase that rivals the first 10 years. And they have not set that up yet, and I'm waiting to see what.
I did actually enjoy the villain though. The villain, this is after a long time I enjoyed a Marvel villain. She's died, she's dead now, but she was fun. She was a fun villain that I really enjoyed. But Marty, have you seen the animated X-Men show, the '97 when they revived that?
No, I was too old to really get into that at the time. So I
think you should check that out. I think you should check out the new show.
So, Marty, I have a question for you. Yeah. What did you think of WandaVision?
I liked WandaVision at the time. I think WandaVision was the first Disney Plus Marvel show. And then The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think, was the second.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that too.
That was third.
Huh?
Cap said Loki. Loki was third.
Loki was third. I even enjoyed Loki to a certain extent, but when they got, and here's my, I'm going to tell you this right now, and I think I've said this before. Here's my bias. I have never liked Kang as a villain. In the comics, when he showed up, I was like, oh crap, I hate this guy. He's a nothing villain. He's just a nothing villain. And then they're like, okay, we're going to set up Kang as the big bad for the next phase. And I went, well, that's going to suck for me because I think he's a nothing villain. And then, you know what they did?
I knew what you said, Cap.
They did nothing with him because he's such a nothing villain. And now he's out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they ever do address that again and what they're actually going to start doing with Doctor Doom, because now we know it, and it's like, well, we're not probably going to see it for 2 or 2.5 years for whatever their plan is there.
Yeah. But Doctor Doom should have been the next big bad all along.
For real.
In a sense, he could have been, because if you think the first Avengers movie, Loki was the villain, but when they eventually got to Thanos, it was like Thanos is kind of the big bad of like 3 Avengers movies, 3 phases in one go. So they could have used Kang as like the equivalent of Ultron, and then someone else, and then got to Doctor Doom whilst building up Doom along the way.
Yeah,
Ultron.
You could have tied it in because one version of Kang is an alternative relative of Reed Richards.
Yeah, Franklin Richards.
Oh, hang on, guys. We're being invaded. Wait for it. It's Tim!
Hey, Tim.
Tim!